composer. I was born on March 4th, 1678 in Venice. I'm a famous composer from the Baroque period. I wrote more than 400 concertos for various instruments, especially for the violin. My most popular work is the First Season. I was taught to play the violin by my father, who was a professional musician.
Venice, the capital of Veneto region, is a fascinating lagoon city that presents itself to the tourist as one of the most beautiful and romantic in the world. It hosts unique artistic and architectural elements. It is one of those few places to visit at least one in a lifetime. The Carnival of Venice is an annual festival held in Venice. The Venice Carnival is one of the best-known festivals in the world for its elaborate masks. But not everyone knows its fascinating origins. The use of masks and symbolic representation are an ancient tradition. The Venice Carnival has precisely this purpose: to give the population the opportunity to celebrate using masks.
Piazza San Marco is one of the most important Italian monumental square and is located in the heart of Venice. It is also the symbol of the lagoon city. This square was built in the 9th century and paved in 1177, 100 years after construction. The most important buildings in the square are the Basilica of San Marco, the Doge's Palace, the Coral Museum, the Campanile, and the Clock Tower. The Basilica of San Marco is the cathedral church and is also one of the symbols of Venetian art and Christianity. The basilica was built in the 11th century, but over the centuries the basilica has undergone various changes.
The Rialto Bridge was built in just 3 years between 1588 and 1591 as a permanent replacement for bow bridge and 3 wooden bridges that had spanned the Grand Canal at various times during the 12th century.
It remained the only way to cross the Grand Canal on foot until the Accademia Bridge was built in 1854. The Rialto Bridge's 7.5-meter arch was designed to allow passage of galleys, and the massive structures was built on 12,000 wooden pilings that still support the bridge more than 400 years later. The architect Antonio da Ponte competed against eminent designers such as Michelangelo and Palladio for the contract. The bridge has 3 walkways, 2 along the outer balustrades and a wider central walkway leading between 2 rows of small shops that sell jewelry, linens, Murano glass, and other items for the tourist trade.
The Canal Grande is the waterway that carries the bulk of Venetian transportation, as cars are banned throughout much of the city. Traditional pole gondolas area favorite with tourists, but are now vastly outnumbered by motorized public transit, water buses, and private water taxis.
Gondolas are undoubtedly one of the things that makes Venice so unique. They may now be used to take tourists on Venetian waterways. Gondolas are far from a recent invention. Custom-made for the shallow waters of the Venetian lagoon, they were in use as far back as the 11th century, and for centuries they were the main way to get around. The distinctive iron prow of the gondola doesn't just serve the practical function of balancing the boat. Gondolas must complete 400 hours of training before passing a test to prove their knowledge of how to operate a gondola, Venetian landmarks and history, and language skills.
The International Film Festival is one of the oldest film festivals in the world and one of the most prestigious. Realized for the first time in 1932 from an idea of the then president of the Biennale, Giuseppe Volpi, the sculptor Antonio Maragni, and Luciano De Feo.
The exhibition immediately gained great popularity, so much that it became an annual event as early as 1935. The festival is today a highly prestigious cinematographic event that every year presents a billboard with world-famous works, bringing some of the most successful directors and performers of our time to the red carpet of the Lido of Venice, thus preserving the tradition that adds to the program of high artistic value the glamour charm that has always characterized the event.